Hi everyone, Holly from Safe for Kids here. I thought I'd jump on and do this video. It's about something that's really, it must be every parent's worst nightmare. I want to do a video about what to do if a child should disclose that they've been sexually abused. Now, realistically, it may not be your child describing it to you. It may be a friend of your child, your child's best friend coming to you. But because the statistics are 1 in 3 children in Australia will be sexually abused before their 18th birthday. That is our national shame. So you have to stay calm. I want to just share with you 2 stories and of parents that have told me their stories, and just to use these because the parents wish they'd handled it so much differently. So the first story I want to share with you is a parent in a farming community. She had several children, but the main story was about her 9-year-old. So they're living on a farm. They have their children, and then their farm hand had a 14-year-old stepson. So all of the children have gone down to the dam and on their bikes and were, larking about and things like that. Anyway, a couple of days later, this 9-year-old daughter came to the mother and said that so-and-so, the 14-year-old stepson, had asked her to have sex. So what is sex, Mum? And of course, the mother was really upset and went to the farmhand and said, your son's done this. And then he goes and says to the 14-year-old, did you ask that child to have sex with you? And he's gone, of course I didn't. Surprise, surprise. The farmhand's gone back to the mother and said, your daughter must be lying. He didn't say that. The mother's gone back to the little girl and said, did he really say that? Now, as a 9-year-old, what they would hear is, you don't believe me. So we need to believe all children. How would a 9-year-old, the mother, I'm not doing this to shame her. She was shocked, and anybody would really say that. But I need you to know that children don't make this stuff up. Why? If a 9-year-old knew what sex was, they wouldn't really ask their mum what it was. So, and they wouldn't do it to get a 14-year-old into trouble. The other story I want to tell you is I had a mum ring me once after I'd had a story in the Sunday Times, and in my article I mentioned that a child had digitally penetrated another child. And so this mum rang me, thanking me for being so open and blunt. If you've watched my lives before, you'll know that I'm pretty blunt in my article, because what had happened with her 5-year-old, I think it was, that's right, 5-year-old, he was at school and they'd had mat time. And when she picked her son up from school, the school simply said to her, oh, we had a bit of an incident today at school. We caught another child with his hands in your son's pants at mat time. So the mum gets the child home and said, what happened? Why didn't you move? And he said, but mummy, it's mat time. You're not allowed to move at mat time. You're not allowed to say anything. But the mum was just trying to, she was really upset. But she realised that when she read my words in the paper, that it wasn't just his hands in his pants, that this child had actually been digitally penetrating her son during mat time in a school. And yet, the school had sort of whitewashed it almost. But here was the mum saying, why didn't you do this? And why didn't you? So a child thinks it must be my fault. So please, if any child tells you that something's happened to them, you're going to freak out in your head. But you can't show that to a child. You just have to stay dead calm. It's not easy. But even if you go, you'll stop the child from telling you. So you need to stay calm. And I want you to say these things. I'm glad you told me. I believe you. It's not your fault, and we're going to do something about it. So the mother in the farming community, what she should have done was actually contact the police, because it is a police matter. Unfortunately, at the school, children under the age of 10, it's not a police matter, but it still needs to be reported to the Department for Child Protection. And in that particular case, it was simply reported to the parent, and then that was the end of it. So we need to help children. When I'm teaching children, I teach them that, We can talk about anything. And so when if it was your child, or if it, again, I really believe that a lot of kids don't actually disclose to their parents because they want to protect their parents. They're more likely to disclose to a teacher or to their friend's parent and things like that. So, but if any child ever discloses to you, please stay calm. Please don't ask them any leading questions. You just have to let them tell their story. If you, who, what, when, where, you can actually taint the evidence for police. So you let them tell their story and you need to report it to authorities. So if there are any other questions around receiving a disclosure, well, actually, I better tell you. So when I say report it to the authorities, it would either be any state's Department for Child Protection, or personally I would contact the police child protection unit in every state. But if you have any other questions, just pop them below and I'll come back on and check later. But I hope this has helped. Like I say, we just need to, children don't lie about this sort of stuff, and you need to stay calm. So yeah, thanks for watching. Stay safe, and I hope this helps. Bye.